Good morning once again. My name is Priva Elibaz and you're watching Sunrise at Sea, and this is our wellness, beauty and lifestyle segment. Today I'm sitting down with Mr. Nathan Magoola, who is an independent filmmaker. He's a writer and he's so many things that comes with having vast knowledge in the film industry. Good morning, sir, once again.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Well, today we're going to be looking at handling talent and also ensuring a good product.
Okay.
As a filmmaker, because I'm reliably informed that you did write the Prestige series.
Yeah.
What goes into getting the concept of the whole series, or actually picking up a specific storyline for a specific movie or series?
Yes, so the thing is that I created the show, so I wrote the concept and the first episode, but then after that I hired writers to help me out because the episodes are so many, I can't write all that by myself. But then so these storylines, there's so many considerations to put in mind, but some of them are kind of like personal, some of them are like, you know, market oriented, that are you know, when you're writing, they tell you to kind of write what you know. So this story comes like from my previous background, that, you know, before I said, like, you know, producing films full-time, I used to work at an ad agency, so I used to write commercials. And so that's kind of a world that I understood. But then also I had to put market considerations in place, because I realized that, okay, so like, you know, when you're watching TV, who are like the biggest audience for the TV series, so I realized that is women. So that's why, like, you know, my leads in the story are women. That's a market consideration. Yeah.
Okay. Do you factor in the bit of skills? Like, I want the creativity bit, the creativity part of it, minus the writing, minus factoring in the market.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, that, you know, first of all, like, you know, when you're going to do like a story, like, you know, it's something that's going to take you a very long time. So it has to be something that you personally are kind of like passionate about, that, you know, even if it's going to take me 10 years later, I'll still be working on this, because that is a story that touches me. That is a story that comes from my soul. I understand it.
The last time you humiliated me by sleeping with Jasmine, but this... Do you think I am stupid?
Watson, please, Watson, please look at me. No, don't shoot!
Do you always have it in mind that this particular character is actually supposed to relate with the people very well? Like, this is the person who's going to sell the show?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you're writing the characters, because first of all, like, when you're writing the characters, you're looking for, because people want conflict, they want drama. So, you know, that's kind of like, you know what, the main thing. But then also you kind of sometimes have to factor in certain factors that, you know, like, for example, that, you know, when we are making Prestige, they are telling us they need it to be a family show. So because it's a family show, you kind of like specifically, deliberately, you try to make it in such a way that it's a show that has like 3 generations. So somewhere we have the grandmas to kind of take care of that, you know, segment of the market, that, you know, we have the parents, and then we have the children, you know, with the children that you have, we have like older children, we have teenagers. That way, you know, that, you know what, you've kind of tapped into different age segments.
Okay, but do you think, okay, the public perspective still, I'm still speaking on behalf of the public, they think we are not being, for lack of a better word, we are not being original. We are copying something from Nollywood.
What's like, who decides what is original?
Who decides what is original?
What is original?
Or like, like we did have in our earlier conversation, we mentioned the bit of culture.
Yeah,
how has that been relayed in our...
This is the thing that there's so many stories to tell, and every story is a valid story. So in me producing the kind of show that I'm producing, I realized that, you know, on TV there were lots of stories that are set in rural areas, stories that are set in ghettos. But then in Kampala, not everybody lives in rural areas, not everybody lives in the ghetto. They're affluent people. So if you are telling me that, you know, it's not original, what? There are no people who go to offices to work in Kampala. That's the life we are portraying. Those people are there. So who decides what's original? Because everybody's kind of trying to tell your story from their own perspective. So if you want to do like, you know, the Kabaka series and things, to do like, you know, Kingdoms and whatever, very good. There's an audience for that, but then there's also an audience for what I'm doing. because I mean, right now I'm going on the 3rd season.
Yes.
And if nobody was watching what I'm doing and they thought it wasn't original, they would have stopped doing what? Watching it, and I would have stopped producing it.
Absolutely. So I think we can agree that the notion of Ugandan filmmakers not having the originality is just it's just a myth.
No, because I mean, like it also, like I said, it also has to, there's the story that you want to tell, and then there is market considerations. Sometimes you'll find yourself with a story that you find is so good that you're passionate about, but nobody is willing to pay for it.
So still on ensuring getting a good product, do you think we have the good organizational places where we can film these series and movies?
I mean, the places are there, but then it also just depends on the story. So like, if you want a story that is set in the medieval times, you'll have to create, that production design, that environment. So it depends on, the kind of story. So even the people who want to set their stories like, in rural areas, the places are there. You go there and you shoot. You go there and you shoot. Well, your final remarks, your final closing remarks on the whole film industry. Yeah, the film industry, the future looks bright, and the audiences just have to embrace us. Just understand that, there is stories for every audience. So maybe the kind of story that I'm telling is not the one for you. Maybe a colleague of mine will produce what is for you, but I know that, there are people who are into what I'm doing. So there's a story for everybody. Just keep watching. Tell me about how characters really influence the people that you're trying to sell this content to. So the thing is that I'll be the first person to tell you that I realize the power of television in influencing minds, and because I know that at the back of my mind we are making deliberate choices and decisions that we know a lot of people kind of watching this are going to kind of follow up on. So for example, we've had like characters who are going through marital problems, and the easier way out is, okay, they have marital problems and then they have to divorce. But then if we keep saying that every person who kind of ends up with marital problems have to divorce, what kind of message are we sending to people that soon as it gets hard, give up? So what we do is that while they get through those problems, we have to make a deliberate choice that no matter what they go through, at the end of the day they have to get back together. So we put all those things in mind, that we're also like not trying to kind of portray lots of vices on the screen, because we know lots of people are picking up on that. And that as well. You have to maintain the moral. Yes, the moral high ground. We have to influence people in a positive way. So that's a deliberate choice we make, because we know so many people are picking up on this. Could also be the deliberate choice be on the basis of actually getting the views. No, because I mean, like in terms of the views, it's kind of a given that more negative stuff kind of like brings the views in. So it's not about the views. It's just doing a product that is entertaining, but then it's also educative. That people are picking up good things out of it, out of watching it. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nathan Magoola, for gracing the show and speaking to us this morning. Well, that's all we had for you this morning. My name is Priva Elibaz. Keep watching Sunrise at Sea.
Guys, you heard the man himself. He's taking all of us out.
On Friday.